Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Sister Melek? How are you doing
Walaikum
today?
salam. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Sister Melek's been an amazing client of mine, and it's been an amazing journey. She's just full of life. She's outgoing and yeah, a bubbly personality. A lot of fun to be around. And yes, please, Sister Melek, introduce yourself.
And I honestly, a lot of that I have to thank you for because you really helped bring that back out in me when I thought I was losing it. So my name is Melek Oiluda, and I am a teacher. I have been working in education for 25 years. And I had always been able to feel like I was moving forward, and then I sort of felt like I got stuck. And that's when you came in.
Alhamdulillah, that's amazing that I just came in at the right time. Is there more you want to tell us about yourself? How many
Well,
kids do you have?
I'm a mother of six, a grandmother of six, but all of my students are also my children. So this year I have 54 kids.
Wow, handful.
And they all know that I am like mom or grandma and they can come to me. So they're definitely like my kids.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So we've been working together for almost 6 months now, group
Mhm.
coaching, but we did get a couple of one-on-ones
Yep.
together. And so I want to ask you, what was your life situation before we started the coaching program? What was your biggest frustration or challenge?
Okay. Um, well, like I said, I've been working in education for like 25 years. And then because I had been out of the classroom for a while, I was sort of working in my own business as far as doing tutoring and things like that. And then I went back into the classroom. There were a lot of skills that I needed to upgrade. And I was working very hard to get those skills upgraded as far as the actual functioning of the job. The classroom hasn't changed. The classroom is always the classroom. But I was really, really struggling, first and foremost, trying to get those skills upgraded and trying to keep my focus and my balance and my workplace balance with my home life. And then I got hit with a couple of health issues that also slowed me down
Mm.
because they were physical issues that were affecting my ability to walk and even I say, brain fog, and even my executive functioning, my ability to keep organized, my ability to keep track of my why in life just started to fail me. And I felt like I was really getting lost and just sort of drowning out there.
Okay. So yeah, sorry to hear that. There seems to be a lot of challenges, going on for
It
you.
happened all at once. So, yeah.
Wow. And how did that feel like?
Well, like I said, I really felt like I was drowning in a lot of day-to-day stuff that needed to be done. And at the same time, I felt like I wasn't really connecting with myself. I wasn't really trusting myself to use my own guidance and my own judgment in the world. I sort of had convinced myself that, oh, if your body's failing, maybe your brain is failing too. And then when
Hmm.
I started hitting the executive functioning where I wasn't able to put things in perspective as well, that it really felt like like I can't describe it in any other word than drowning. Drowning is the best example for it.
So what was your experience of this whole journey of getting coaching, raising self-awareness, getting to understand
One
you
of the
better?
things that I love that you did was sort of talk about, okay, yeah, you have all of this stuff that's going on. Where's your moment? What are you doing in your moment? What are you doing at this moment? And so we talked a lot about that. What's going on at this moment? Yeah, you have stuff over here and you have stuff over there and you have, all these issues going on, but what's going on in your moment? And that really made me pay attention and notice that there were patterns there, that I wasn't really drowning. That I may have been underwater, but I was still breathing.
Mhm.
I was still keeping up with everything the best that I could. And being in the moment also allowed me to feel like I had a little bit of forgiveness for myself because it wasn't you should be able to, or you could do, or that it was, this is what you're doing right now and you have accomplished it. Let's move to the next moment. And so I was able to take those baby steps. And once I got those baby steps rolling, then I started realizing, wait a minute, there's patterns. Okay, so if there's a pattern, that's something that's easy to fix, so that we can, add something to the pattern or take something out of the pattern. But yeah, once I started being able to take those baby steps, I was able to really start moving forward. And I started, just being more aware of how these things were making me feel, how all of my health issue, how the skills training, how all this extra stuff on my plate was really making me feel. And then I remember we were talking the one time about um just accepting the ability to, okay, there's some things you're not going to be able to do in this moment. So why are you upset with yourself over that moment? Let that be done in the next moment when you're able to deal with it. So yeah, that was really helpful for me.
And then you mentioned you had health issues. How did this program help you in terms of understanding your health issues and dealing with them?
Well, because again, even with my health issue, not just not just at work, where I could turn around and say, what am I doing at this moment? What am I doing in the next moment? And plan those moments out in the course of the day. But I could stand back and say, okay, what am I physically feeling? And what is my heart trying to tell me about what I'm physically dealing with? And so I was able to really pay attention to myself and really pay attention to what my body was trying to tell me, again, because I was in that moment. I wasn't worried about a lot of other stuff. And it it gave me the almost like permission to turn around and say, you're not feeling well today. So let's take those moments a little slower. Let's take those baby steps a little slower. Okay, today you feel great. Let's do a little bit extra then. Maybe stay an extra half hour at work and add a few moments. But it also gave me a permission to say, you're not well. Let's go see a doctor. And because I started to go see an actual doctor, I actually ended up with a diagnosis. Wasn't exactly what I would, it's not the best of diagnosis, but when I sit in the moment and say, this is my diagnosis, I can turn around and say, but I have a diagnosis now. I'm not losing my mind. Now I can say, okay, here are my new circumstances. And I can be in that moment with those new circumstances, whether it be a new medicine or whether it's something else, and say, okay, how am I doing at this moment? So
That's
and
amazing. I remember you telling me that you were on a medication and somehow through developing self-awareness through the coaching program,
yeah,
you realized that medication had side effects that you were not aware of. And as a
yes,
result, you went back to your doctor. So you want to tell us
yes.
more about that?
Yeah, actually I can explain the whole thing because I didn't really start connecting the dots until you had talked to me about that. And so I was on a medicine and I did not realize that part of the medicine was actually had because what my diagnosis now is that I actually have a genetic what they call it, I can't think of it now, autoimmune disease. And I had never had it in my whole entire life. That medicine had somehow triggered and activated that autoimmune disease. It's the ankylosing spondylitis. And so, because I had never been diagnosed with it before, and I did not know what part was this actually a side effect of the medicine or was there something else going on? And so I went to my doctor and I said, wait a minute, I've been taking this medicine. I've really looked at my patterns in life, and this is all what I'm noticing about how I feel during certain parts of the day and that. And and my doctor, she turned around, she said, then you need to go see a rheumatologist. Sounds like we've triggered something that you may not even realize you have had. And sure enough, I went to the rheumatologist, and she did the all of the blood work and everything she needed. And she said, yeah, it triggered this autoimmune disease. And she said, but it's genetic. You've always had
Mm.
it. You just never had the effects of it. But because I was able to turn around and say, okay, how am I feeling right now? And I know I'm not feeling well. And I know I can pinpoint it to when it started, and it was this medicine. And just that awareness, I can't even express, just being aware. I would have ignored all those side effects, thinking that they were just a side effect of the medicine, and not realizing that it had actually triggered something in me that is an actual disease. And now I'm on medicine and I feel wonderful. I feel like I have my last year's body back.
And yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the awareness that you were able to actually make a difference in your situation in terms of your health, and just kind of moving forward, you kind of look happier
Yeah.
now, you
I
know.
feel happier, and but at the same time, I am constantly reminding myself to stay with my why, check with my why all the time. Why am I here? What am I doing right this moment? And is it something I need to do right now? Or is there something else I need to, which is great because I also have my ADHD diagnosis now. And when you're ADHD, you have to make sure that your moment, you're not procrastinating something else off. So it's helped with
Yeah.
that too. Um,
Yes.
mhm.
So would you say the best part was the part where you're talking about um knowing your why? Because every time I ask you and you're like, yeah, it's knowing my why. You helped me
Yeah.
find my why.
Yes, exactly. And it's because it's and I just keep coming back to that whole thing about, just be aware of what you're doing and say, okay, why am I here? Is this a benefit? That was one question. What is the benefit of this that you had asked me one time? And if it's something that's benefiting you, okay, then you know your why. I'm here because this is benefiting me for this, and this reason. But if you can turn around and say, I really don't know why I'm here, then it makes you think more, okay, then what can I do to fix that? How can I bring that more in line with my values? How can I bring that more in line with my heart and what my heart is feeling? How can I find that peace with why I'm here? And that is why you have to understand, you have to live in the moment. You have to know your why, because you have to be able to find that peace with yourself. That peace is not going to come from outside. It has to come from inside. And now I sound like you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So what would you tell somebody that's thinking about joining my program?
Do it without a doubt. There again, if in the beginning I had known all the things that you were going to teach me, I would say, oh yeah, I'm going to jump right in and do that. But in the beginning, I didn't know the why. And so I was hesitant, but I listened and I paid attention. And I remember like the first few sessions, I was a little bit quiet, I was a little hesitant. And then after that, the connections started coming and I started realizing, oh, wait a minute, you were talking about this last week, and I had this experience this week, and I really started to appreciate, and that's the best word for it, is appreciate what I was experiencing on a day-to-day uh just a day-to-day pattern, and just being really excited about being part of it again. So
Thank you, and I
definitely
appreciate it.
anybody that says, how am I going to benefit from this? Just sit, just listen, and you will know that you'll feel it start benefiting you before you even realize it. You'll feel it.
You appreciate that. And it was lovely working with you. You're just a wonderful person, and you're
Thank
just
you.
amazing to be with. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Michael. Have a good
Very
day.
good.
And let's stop the recording here.